This podcast is recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations. We pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this country and elders past and present. We extend our respects to any First Nations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today.
Welcome to today's episode of No Spoons to Give, the podcast where we explore life's ups and downs with neurodivergence, chronic illness and disability, and we chat with the voices that make our community so wonderful. I'm Larissa from the Spoonie community team, and I've got Maddie here with me. How are you today, Maddie?
I'm doing well, having a good day. What about you?
Love that for you. Yeah, I'm doing really well. The sun's out. I had a great brekkie. I'm caffeinated and I'm ready to go. And I have got a good recommendation for you this week.
Please share.
I think I'm a little bit late to the party with this one, but I have been reading. You'll be proud of me. I struggle to finish books. It's a book called I Hope This Finds You Well, and it's by Natalie. One of my reading goals for this year was to read some more books that would actually help my busy ADHD brain actually switch off, and this book is exactly that. It's a witty and clever office rom-com about a woman who works in an office job that she very much hates. She does not get along with her colleagues, and she all of a sudden finds herself with access to all of her co-workers' DMs and emails, and she uses this intel to save her job. It's a great holiday read, and if you just want something cruisy to read, it's a great rom-com. And it had me cackling.
That sounds amazing. Oh, I'm going to have to check that out, definitely.
Yeah, it is a great holiday read. Have you got a recommendation for me today?
I do. It's a book, surprise, surprise. It's called Sitting Pretty by Rebekah Tausigg. It's a beautiful, nuanced, clever and thought-provoking memoir that's a series of essays that includes growing up as a paralysed person, disability representation in the media, and the complications of kindness and charity. I found that my mind was so expanded by this book. I love books where you can just have your own ideas challenged and you can really have a new perspective on different parts. So such a good read.
That sounds amazing, and it sounds like it touches on so many different important topics as well.
Really does. Today we'll be chatting with Claire Jensz, an executive producer whose journey with multiple sclerosis has been brought to life in a brilliant new film called Take My Hand. It's about a woman who is diagnosed with MS and moves back home to Australia with her sons following the sudden death of her husband, where she has a chance encounter with her childhood sweetheart.
Welcome, Claire, and thank you so much for joining us today. We've been following all of the amazing work that you've been doing with Take My Hand and also the wider MS community, and we're so thrilled to be able to chat with you today.
Thank you much. Thank you very much.
So Take My Hand is such a beautiful film that really celebrates love and support. Not to mention, it's based on your real life love story and experiences with MS. I imagine it could be quite personal to have your real story told on screen. How much of the film represents your own story, and did the film take any creative license?
The film took a bit of license in terms of timing of things because my MS diagnosis was actually before kids, not after kids. But we changed things because it make the film make more sense, and the film be more time wise. The time worked better. But we the whole thing's about my whole life, and it's very confronting, a lot of it too. I cried a lot making the whole film because I saw my diagnosis and I saw my illness as it progressed, and I thought it was actually quite challenging, I guess. But we got through it, and here we are. And now I feel I'm so glad it was made. I feel very grateful it was even covered. And now it's being put out there in the world, and I feel very, very satisfied with that too.
Mm. And what made you decide to make the film about your experience with MS? It is such a personal journey. What sort of made you want to make the film and spread the message of MS as well?
My husband wrote the whole film, and also the director of the and a book as well. And he wrote the story and did the whole film. He's a director. And he wanted to put my story out there because it was quite a big story. And he wanted to make it more well known and more to get more coverage of MS as well. And he put my whole story to light now that's being more well known now, which is good. And we hopefully getting more of a platform to about MS and be more present and be more engaged with other people as well.
Absolutely. And it was so fantastic to see that you partnered with MS Australia on the film. They do such a terrific job in advocating for people living with MS. I mean, I remember doing the MS Readathon so many years. It was fantastic. What made you decide to partner with them?
Well, as you say, the MS Readathon, I did that as a kid also each year. I love reading. I love the whole Readathon challenge. So I think I kind of had a soft spot for them already. And then they contacted us because the film was about MS, so they kind of, the partnering with them in the last is actually almost perfect because they have the same ethos we did about trying to get the word out there and be understood more. And also understand people to get early diagnosis is quite key. And that was one of their stories and one of our things as well. So it's kind of combined nicely there.
I also live with a chronic illness, and I know that sometimes this can be quite isolating. Having a community that understands, I guess, your illness and how you interact with the world can make a world of difference. What has your experience been like with, I guess, like friendship and community and finding people that understand?
It's a very good point because I think it's a very isolating disease, as a chronic diseases can be. I think finding people with the disease that understand you and can share hard parts of MS is kind of critical, I think. So having a community involved in your life is critical. And having friends who know what's going on, because it's a hard disease to manage and to live with, because you'll cancel early, or you'll cancel early on events, or you'll just not go, or you'll get too tired to go home to sleep, or all the different things go wrong with MS. So it's it's kind of critical. I think having a community of MS, of other ill people as well.
What challenges have you faced with friendships while living with a chronic illness? And do you have any advice that you would give to others on being a good friend to someone who's living with a disability or chronic illness?
Yeah, I think friendships, it's a good question, because I think when you get diagnosed with a chronic condition, you kind of find out who your real friends are. And not equally, those are not your friends at all. So you kind of, in a way, the whole process of culling friends kind of happens automatically, because people, they kind of decide they don't like you anymore. They can't, you're too hard to deal with. Your disease is too ugly, or you're too much hard to work, or you're not what they wanted you to be friends with before. Because you've changed so much, you don't, it's actually quite, it's quite enlightening what's important to people and who is your real friend. And so kind of in a way, like I said, it culls things by itself. So, and also what happens in that story, also friends who beforehand perhaps weren't you that good friends at all, and then they become really critical friends because they understand you and they understand your illness, and they're on your page, I guess, and you can discuss things quite openly. Whereas other friends who you thought you were really good friends are no longer at all. So it's very distant. It tells you what goes on in the world. It's quite enlightening, I think, too.
That would be a really hard experience to go through.
Yeah, I think, because you also, people that you thought was your friend and they drop you like a stone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't like me at all, really. So it's quite confronting when someone you thought was your good friend, and you fact, I was told at the beginning, long time back in England, I was told by a friend, I can't be around you. Can't see you. I can't be around you. It's too confronting. But my mortality is too bleak, and I can't. I said, well, but I'm the one who's sick, and you're not, and you're telling me you can't be around me. We're not friends anymore. That's the person at all. But that was quite shocking, because it wasn't prepared for that at all. But now I understand it. So I think it's quite an ugly disease. And it's quite not ugly. It's quite because you can't get cured, so it's forever, and your life changes forever. So I think like I said, the fork in the road thing happens pretty much automatically. So your friends in your life change it so dramatically that you have to choose a different pathway.
That's so right. I live with a chronic illness as well, and I really notice that with friendships. You learn who's in your corner and who actually is not.
Yeah, and it surprises you because I didn't know that.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. It's by telling who's your real friend.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the film. I know that despite efforts to increase stories by and about disabled people in film and television, recent reports have revealed that the representation of disabled people on screen has changed very little since 2015. But your film actively challenges that and challenges that lack of inclusion. Why do you think stories about disabled people are important to tell?
I think it's very hard. A lot of people can't cope with it. And I think they'd rather not see it, don't be around it, not smell it, nothing. So I think it's actually quite important to make sure that people know that we're out there, where people like to ignore we're there. Like they think that, and also diseases like MS, it's invisible. Most people can't see we're sick at all. So people are, I think, quite shocked when they find we're sick, and like it's quite confronting is a bit about confronting. It's quite it changes your thoughts on people because you think, oh wow, they're sick, and it changes how you think they're. Oh, the person said to me years ago, it's a boyfriend / friend, but said to me, I can't be a friend anymore. It's just, didn't say it was too ugly, but Jimmy said to me, good luck with that. I said, oh, thank you. So I was like basically saying you're worth nothing now. I was like, oh wow, that was quite hard to deal with, but it's what people say.
I know you were quite young when you received your diagnosis. I think, were you 28, Claire? Yeah, which is my age now, actually. A lot of young females are diagnosed with MS in their late 20s. Do you have any advice for people who have recently received a confronting diagnosis or who have become chronically ill?
Okay, I think that I can't really speak of MS, but that's similar things. That I think that, like I was saying just now, it sorts out who your real friends are, and it's just you can't avoid that. Just is what it is. But also, I think that also embrace life more, because I think that maybe other people like me that before you diagnose it, you don't quite know how life is so good till you diagnose it. I can't do these things. So while you're still well, if you're still able to do things, just embrace it, do what you can, and just be more present, be more concentrate on things that are really important to you and what you can do, not what you can't do. Because things you can't do, they won't change. Don't go down the road hole of things that can't do anymore. They'll ruin your mind. Just try and think about things you can do and things you enjoy and people you enjoy. Try and do that too, I think.
I love that. That's great advice.
I was wondering, how involved were you in the telling of your own story? I know that you were executive producer, but yeah, I'd like to know a little bit more about that.
So in the film, a lot of things were, I guess, sort of Hollywooded up with it. Things were making to me more pretty. Things were very, very not touched on things that should have been talked on as much, I think, but we tried to make it less confronting for everyone. So it was more beautifully done, I guess. Things that were really ugly we didn't do, because that doesn't do well. So we kind of left out the kind of really bad MS things. But we kind of talked about a lot of good things as well. We can kind of just focus on good things. Yeah, I sat behind my husband, John, the director, the whole time. So in terms of the whole shooting of the movie, I was critical in terms of what was shot and not shot, I guess. But I think things I would have liked to be more about MS, but it doesn't always go well with the stories. But as we just discussing, it's actually not always what people want to see. But a lot of it was seen, which is great. So things where I hope highlighted things that are difficult for MS patients, but highlighted a bit. But it could be more.
One of the things that was highlighted really well in the film was the experience of supporting your partner through chronic illness or disability. It was really lovely that the film touched on those points. For a lot of people, they may support a partner who has a chronic illness or disability. How important is it to have the right person in your life to support you through that?
Oh, I think that having a partner, well, if you're lucky enough to have a partner who supports you, you've hit the gold ticket, because you kind of having a partner will go through the whole ups and downs of a disease with you or illness with you is critical. And I think also if you're not, I shouldn't say it because some people don't have partners yet, but I feel blessed to have John in my life to be my sort of my rock through all the things that go wrong. And he is my support mechanism on every single item of MS. He's there all the time. So I think it does actually, some people, their partners leave them when these sorts of diagnoses achieved, which is horrible. A lot of people leave MS partners because it's too horrible, which I think is disgraceful, but that's my thought. But it shows you that person's body wasn't worth having in the first place. I can tell that, but it's just a bit mean, but true.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today, Claire. It's been amazing chatting with you and learning more about your story and Take My Hand. If people want to check out the film, can they find it?
It's on Netflix right now, or Apple as well, and Amazon.
Amazing. And if people want to follow more of your journey, is there anywhere they can get in touch with you or follow you online?
It's on the podcast. We have a podcast called 1,000 Little MS Things on the podcast with me on it each week.
Amazing. We'll definitely share that with our Spoonie community. And thank you again so much for your time. It's been lovely chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Claire.
Right, thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Spoonie, a safe space for neurodivergent, chronically ill and disabled people to make friends and find support. Spoonie is the world's very first social app designed with accessibility at its core. If you like this episode, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could hit subscribe or share it with a friend. If you'd like to join our Spoonie community, you can download the app on the App Store or via Google Play. And if you'd like to keep up to date with us on social media, you can follow us via the links in the show notes.